Look at these two sets of condenser coils. Same refrigerator model, same age, same manufacturer. One is clean, silvery fins running in neat rows, air moving through freely. The other is packed with a thick mat of dust and pet hair and debris so dense you could pull it off in a sheet. Now here's what the appliance industry doesn't broadcast, that second set of coils may be costing the person who owns that fridge hundreds of dollars every single year in wasted electricity. And the fix costs less than $2 and takes about 20 minutes. That is what this is about. Not a replacement, not a recall. A maintenance task so simple it borders on embarrassing, except nobody told you it existed. Now here is where the expert debate starts to get interesting. Appliance manufacturers will tell you, with genuine reasoning behind it, that modern refrigerators are largely self-maintaining. The engineering teams that design these units have optimized compressor cycles, improved insulation, and developed fan systems that handle typical household conditions without requiring much owner intervention. Their argument is not unreasonable. A fridge bought in 2020 is genuinely more efficient at baseline than one from 2005. The manuals often mention coil cleaning in passing, buried somewhere in the back pages, framed as an optional step for particularly dusty environments. And for many households running a fairly new unit in a clean space, that framing holds up reasonably well. But here is where the counter-argument emerges, and it comes from energy auditors, appliance repair technicians, and utility efficiency researchers who look at real-world data rather than lab-controlled specs. When condenser coils accumulate a layer of dust and debris, they lose the ability to release heat efficiently. Think of it like this. The condenser coil is your refrigerator's radiator. Its entire job is to dump the heat it pulls out of your food into the surrounding air. When you wrap that radiator in an insulating blanket of lint and pet hair, it cannot shed that heat properly. The compressor, the motor that drives the whole refrigeration cycle, has to run longer and harder to compensate. Longer run cycles mean more electricity consumed. More electricity consumed means a higher bill at the end of every month. Energy auditors who have measured before and after consumption on dirty versus cleaned units have found efficiency losses that, in older or already straining refrigerators, can be substantial. Some failing or older units running in warm kitchens with heavily fouled coils may be consuming meaningfully more power than their rated spec. And over a full year, that gap in some worst-case scenarios has been estimated in the range of several $100s extra on a household's energy bill. That number is not guaranteed for every household. A newer unit in a cool, clean environment with lightly dusty coils may see a far more modest difference. But the direction of the effect is consistent. Dirty coils cost more to run. The only real debate among technicians is how much more. Pay attention to this next part because the mechanism matters. Refrigerant, the substance that actually moves heat from inside your fridge to the outside air, travels in a closed loop. It absorbs warmth from inside the cabinet, carries it to the condenser coils at the back or underneath the unit, and releases it. The condenser fan blows air across those coils to speed up that heat release. When the coils are coated in an insulating layer of grime, the heat transfer slows down. The refrigerant stays warmer than it should when it cycles back through the system. The compressor, sensing that the interior isn't cooling fast enough, keeps running. It is a feedback loop, and every extra hour the compressor runs is an hour of electricity you're paying for without getting anything in return. There's also a secondary cost buried in this that rarely gets discussed. Compressors have a finite lifespan, and that lifespan is partly a function of how many hours they run. A compressor in a well-maintained refrigerator may last 20 years without incident. A compressor that has been running extended cycles for years due to blocked coils may develop wear patterns and stress fractures earlier than it should. The repair cost for a compressor, assuming the technician determines it is worth replacing rather than buying a new unit, can range from several $100s into the four-figure range depending on the brand. That is not a claim that dirty coils will inevitably kill your compressor. It is a conditional observation. If your compressor is running harder than designed consistently for an extended period, the probability of early wear increases. Engineers who specialize in appliance failure analysis will generally agree with that framing. But here's where it gets interesting because the door gasket is the other half of this story, and it is arguably the more invisible leak. The magnetic seal that runs around the perimeter of your refrigerator door does one job: keep the cold air in and the warm air out. That sounds simple. In practice, a gasket that has accumulated grease, food residue, and general household grime along its sealing surface may not be forming the airtight contact it should. The seal does not have to be visibly cracked or torn to be underperforming. Sometimes it just needs to be cleaned. A thin film of grime on the contact surface can create micro gaps, not visible to the naked eye in a casual look, but enough to allow a slow, steady exchange of air that the compressor has to work against constantly. The dollar bill test is the standard field check for this, and you can do it right now. Open the refrigerator door and place a dollar bill across the gasket where the door meets the frame. Close the door on it, then try to pull the bill out slowly. If it slides out with little to no resistance, the gasket seal at that spot is weaker than it should be. A well-sealing gasket grips the bill and you feel genuine resistance. Do this at 4 or 5 points around the door, perimeter, the corners and the midpoints of each side. If you are getting easy slip at multiple points, the gasket may need to be cleaned or, in cases of physical deterioration, eventually replaced. The cleaning part first, because it often solves the problem entirely and it costs nothing. Warm water and a small amount of dish soap on a cloth, work gently, into the folds of the gasket material, removes the residue that prevents a clean seal. Dry it, close the door, and rerun the bill test. A surprising number of gaskets that seemed worn out simply needed to be clean. The material itself was fine. Most people don't know this, but the location of your refrigerator also has a measurable effect on how hard it has to work. This is something appliance manufacturers do address in their documentation, though it tends not to make it into consumer awareness in any meaningful way. A refrigerator placed directly against a wall with no clearance on the back or sides cannot dissipate heat from its coils as efficiently as one with a few inches of breathing room. A unit placed next to the range or in a corner that receives direct afternoon sunlight is fighting a thermal battle before it even starts. If your refrigerator is running in an ambient kitchen temperature, consistently above 80 degrees Fahrenheit, common in warmer climates or poorly ventilated kitchens in summer, well, the compressor workload increases in proportion. None of that is a design flaw, it is physics. But it does mean the maintenance tasks matter even more in those environments. The frost buildup question is worth addressing directly because it creates confusion between older and newer units. Frost-free refrigerators, which covers essentially everything sold in the past few decades, have an automatic defrost cycle built in. A heating element periodically melts any frost that accumulates on the evaporator coils inside the unit. The resulting water drains away through a tube into a pan underneath where it evaporates. This system is largely invisible to the owner and functions automatically. However, if the defrost drain becomes blocked, which can happen from food debris or ice buildup in the drain tube, water may start pooling at the bottom of the refrigerator or beneath it. A blocked drain does not directly cause the unit to run inefficiently in the same way coil fouling does, but it does indicate the defrost system may not be clearing frost as completely as intended, and in some cases, the frost accumulation can eventually begin to restrict airflow over the evaporator. If you are seeing unexplained pooling of water inside the cabinet or on the floor beneath the fridge, that drain is worth investigating. Let that sink in for a second. There are at least 4 separate maintenance points on a standard household refrigerator that most owners never think about, and that the purchase experience does not prepare them for the condenser coils, the door gasket, the drain tube, and placement clearance. None of them require a service call. All of them are things you can address yourself with basic tools and a small amount of time. Now for the conditional advice, because not every situation calls for the same response. If your refrigerator is more than 5 years old and you have never cleaned the condenser coils, that is the first physical action to take this week. Before you do anything, unplug the unit from the wall. This is not optional. The coils on most units are located either on the back panel or behind a grill at the bottom front. Your owner's manual will specify which. A coil cleaning brush, which runs about $2 at most hardware stores, is designed to reach between the fins and dislodge the accumulated debris. A vacuum with a narrow attachment handles the loose material. The entire process typically takes 15 to 20 minutes. The difference in airflow after a thorough cleaning is something you can actually feel with your hand. You may notice the area around the unit seems cooler and the compressor cycles feel less prolonged in the days after. If your fridge is newer, say 2 to 3 years old, and you are not in a particularly dusty household with heavy pet shedding, an annual coil check is probably sufficient. Pull it out once a year, have a look, and clean if there is visible accumulation. That is a reasonable maintenance interval that aligns with what many appliance technicians recommend in practice. If you have done the dollar bill test and you are getting consistent easy pull results all the way around the gasket even after cleaning, the gasket itself may be physically compromised, cracked, hardened, or deformed. Replacement gaskets for most major refrigerator brands are available as parts and are generally a manageable DIY installation, though it varies by model. A technician can do it quickly if you prefer, if you suspect any issue with the refrigerant itself, if you are hearing unusual sounds from the compressor area, if the refrigerator is not maintaining temperature even with clean coils and a good gasket seal, or if the compressor appears to be running continuously without cycling off, that is the line where you call a certified appliance technician. Refrigerant systems are closed loops that require licensed handling. That is not a maintenance task, it is a repair. Do not attempt to open refrigerant lines. One more thing worth saying plainly. The temperature settings inside the unit matter. The FDA recommends keeping refrigerator temperature at or below 40 degrees Fahrenheit and the freezer at 0 degrees. Many households run their refrigerator colder than necessary. Some refrigerators arrive from the factory set colder than needed. A refrigerator set to 32 degrees is working significantly harder than one set to 38. Check your temperature display, or use an inexpensive thermometer placed inside the main compartment overnight. If the unit is running colder than it needs to be, raising the set point by a few degrees can reduce compressor runtime without compromising food safety in any meaningful way. The overall picture that emerges from all of this, from the energy auditors, from the appliance technicians, from the efficiency researchers, is consistent. A refrigerator is not a set-it-and-forget appliance. It has a small number of maintenance needs that are genuinely impactful, genuinely inexpensive to address, and genuinely underserved by the consumer education around these products. The industry's focus is on selling new units. The instruction manuals mention maintenance without emphasizing it, and so millions of households run refrigerators that are working harder than they need to, month after month, adding dollars to utility bills that did not have to be there. The coil brush costs $2. The gasket cleaning costs nothing. The dollar bill test costs nothing. Checking your temperature setting costs nothing. These are not dramatic interventions. They are the kind of routine attention that keeps a large appliance running at or near its rated efficiency, rather than significantly below it. Pull your refrigerator out from the wall this week. Take a look at the back or the bottom grill. If what you see looks anything like that second set of coils, the gray, matted, airflow blocked ones, you now know exactly what to do and why it matters. If that cleared up something you had been wondering about, hitting subscribe means you will catch the next breakdown when it goes up. More deep dives into the things inside your home that are quietly costing you money are coming. And most of the fixes turn out to be exactly this straightforward.